Hello everyone and welcome to the Carcode YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Sam. Make sure to hit subscribe down below for all the latest new car content. Today I'm checking out the Skoda Kodiaq EV plug-in hybrid model. First of all, a huge thanks to Vantage Skoda in Morecambe for making this video possible, and to Toby, the sales manager. All of Vantage Skoda's links are in the description down below, so make sure to check them out. So let's review the Skoda Kodiaq plug-in hybrid. Okay, so starting with the exterior design of the Skoda Kodiaq, and it's very Skoda, isn't it? Starting to the front end of the vehicle, you've got this massive grille which has grown in size from the previous model. I don't think this car's quite as sharp looking as the outgoing facelifted model of the first generation, which looked a little bit more sleeker to me. However, this car is more aerodynamic, so it's all to help the efficiency of the vehicle, and it's got the new technology packed in. But I don't know, it has definitely got a chunkier, more SUV look and perhaps more premium. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's not a bad looking car though, is it? Especially this bonnet, it's nice. You've still got those really sharp Skoda creases, chrome around the outside of the grille. This is the SEL model. There's 3 different trims to choose from if you want a plug-in hybrid Kodiaq. You've got the SE, the SEL and the top of the range Sportline. Apologies about the lights flashing on camera. My camera never likes the LED headlights on cars. These are the matrix ones here that you get as standard on SEL and above. You can opt for them on SE, but they're expensive, so you're probably worth just going up to the SEL model if you do want them. They're very clever, the Skoda crystal LED lights, which is really nice. Not only do they look great, but they're also clever in that they turn corners, they automatically dip, etc. And you've got your little fog light section down here, as we did on the previous Kodiaq. You've got a pretty impressive front indicator as well. It's not the sweeping sequential style that you get at the rear, which I'll show you now, but it is extremely clear as to where you're going, which is good. So many cars now have got a tiny indicator. Even if half the car's blocked off, you can still see it, which is great to see. What I think you'll agree is more impressive though is the sequential style sweeping indicators to the rear. Very Audi inspired for sure. They look great, and they're standard on SEL and above as well. And to the side of the Kodiaq, kind of business as usual on the vehicle. It looks quite nice. I do like this silver blade section at the rear of the car. It's a bit ID4 from Volkswagen. It's also a bit Audi-esque. And then there's one of the 2 cues that tell you it's a plug-in hybrid. This is obviously the charge port at the front of the vehicle. That's one of the clues to it being a plug-in hybrid. And also this little IV badge. It doesn't stand for intravenous, it stands for intelligent vehicle. Apparently intelligent, and they also say a few other words, which is used for the plug-in hybrid Skodas and also the fully electric Skodas. So that's when you know it's electrified, but specifically a plug-in one. I think the rear of the Kodiaq is my favourite angle of the car. It looks most Kodiaq-like, but you have the lights that kind of wrap around more now. They're quite impactful actually. It looks quite cool. It's almost a bit American, kind of Lincoln or Cadillac. And how about colours offered on the Kodiaq? Well, there's actually quite a wide range. As standard though, it comes in the solid energy blue, which I'm not a big fan of it. Metallic colours start at £680, including this metallic moon white. It might not look metallic at first glance, but if you look closely, especially when the sun hits it, it has got a metallic sheen, which is quite nice but quite subtle. There's plenty more colours to choose from though on the vehicle, including the black magic pearl, graphite grey, smoky silver, which does look quite nice, race blue metallic, which although on pictures looks like energy blue, it's a lot nicer. There's one in the showroom in that colour, and it is quite a nice colour on the vehicle. And also the Bronx gold. The Bronx! If you know, you know. I don't think many people are going to get the reference, but the Bronx gold, which I'd say is more of an olivey greeny gold, but I actually quite like it. I've got a turmeric yellow Volkswagen Golf, so I'm a bit biased in that I like the kind of yellowy colours. I think it looks quite good on the car, suits it quite well. You can also of course go for the exclusive colour option of the velvet red metallic. That's £1,065. It does look quite nice, definitely stands out on the vehicle. However, red on a big vehicle seems to make it appear quite big. Alloy wheels on the Kodiaq EV range from 18 to 20 inches. As standard on the SE model, they come in the 18-inch Mazzeno alloy wheels, aero design. You can upgrade them for a different style 18-inch for £55 for the Soira anthracite alloy wheels, which do look nicer and are not an aero design, or you can upgrade to 19 inches on SE with the 19-inch Talgar alloy wheels with the aero design. They're £745. Going up to this mid-spec SEL model, you get 19-inch alloys as standard, the 19-inch Rapito alloy wheels in silver. I'm not a massive fan of these, they look quite small in the silver, so I'd definitely upgrade to one of the two-tone options. £130 option of the 19-inch Halti alloy wheels, which are the same design as this, but just a two-tone look. They look great and only £130. Again, you can go for the 19-inch Talgar alloy wheels for just over £100 on this model, or you can go for the 19-inch Lefka alloy wheels, which look like the Talgar wheels, but without the aero inserts. So quite complicated, but there's 4 different choices of wheels on the SEL model. Going up to the Sportline, much more simple. You get the 20-inch Sportline alloy wheels as standard on that model and no option of different wheels. Sportline does add dynamic chassis control as standard, which is good, so you can adapt the dampers to be more comfortable or more sporty, but obviously with 20s it's going to have a firmer ride again. I don't think it should be too harsh though, because these 19 inches are supple enough for most people, even around corners. Just on those harsher bumps, a bit juddery, but not too bad. These are wrapped in Hankook Ventus tyres. Of course, it's a family SUV, so it's not designed to be a sporty drive or the most engaging. If you do want something like that, a lower down vehicle is going to definitely give you that, such as the Skoda Superb, which is also available with the plug-in hybrid powertrain. If you want to watch my full video on the Skoda Superb, you can click up there. But this is more practical than that car, and you do get a nice high driving position. It's very commanding. You can see over the bonnet very well. Feels higher up than the Enyaq as well, the fully electric Skoda, but it's a similar-ish size. It's a bit bigger than that car. If you don't like big cars, you won't be a fan of this. I'm using the paddles now to go through the 6-speed DSG transmission to manually change the gears, but they also do a regen. So when you're driving as an electric car, even in hybrid, so I'll make sure it's in the hybrid mode, there we go. When you put your foot down harshly, there you go, the engine does come on. I'm using my paddles now to go through the gears manually. When it's revving, yes, it is using engine braking. When it's in hybrid mode though, the paddles are basically just doing your regen, if that makes sense. There we go. You felt that hard bump there. It's the hard surfaces that it can feel a bit firm, but generally not too bad. You've got quite a bit of ground clearance, so there feels like a big distance between you sitting in the seats and the road. It's never uncomfortable. It's just not the most settled ride all the time. In general though, the Kodiaq IV driving experience is quite nice. It's nice and smooth. It doesn't roll too much, but it's not too firm. It's quite a nice balance, especially set up for a family vehicle. That's what it's designed to do. Or as a motorway cruiser, it works well in that sense as well. I think it's going to suit a lot of people because it's just comfortable. It's nippy enough. It does the job. Incredibly efficient as well, as you can see. 25 miles and I've averaged 150 miles per gallon, which is great. You can see as a start, 96% showing 66 miles, so that's 71 miles official range. Is so impressive for a plug-in hybrid. As for charging the Kodiaq IV, it's pretty easy. The charge flap's on the front panel of the vehicle. I don't mind it too much. It's better than being on the very front. I would prefer the rear of the vehicle. There we go. So you just press it like that to open it, and you'll notice that not only do you have AC charging, you do also have DC type fast charging, which is getting more common for plug-in hybrids, but still we normally just see the normal AC type port. But what does that mean? Well, that means it's capable of 50 kilowatt DC fast charging, and you can charge it from 10 to 80% in just 26 minutes, which is pretty impressive. However, it's quite costly to public charge, so I wouldn't bother fast charging it. I'd just charge it at home. Luckily, 11 kilowatt AC charging is standard on the vehicle, meaning you can fully charge it in around 3 hours, which is excellent. Of course, you can still use a 7 kilowatt charger as well. It'll just take a bit longer, around 5 hours to fully charge. So if you are charging it regularly, it will just sip through petrol and not use much at all. I'm leaving it in hybrid mode now, which I would recommend is the best one to leave it in, especially if you're doing a longer journey. However, if you're doing shorter journeys, Leave it in E mode's absolutely fine, and it'll just prioritise the electricity and less likely to kick in the petrol engine unless you push it further. The statistics are pretty impressive of the plug-in hybrid. You got 201 brake horsepower to the front wheels, getting from 0 to 62 in 8.4 seconds. However, many testers have managed to get under 8 seconds, which is really impressive, so it does feel pretty nippy enough actually. Let's have a look under the bonnet of this plug-in hybrid Kodiaq and see what powers it. Really great to see hydraulics on the bonnet, especially on a larger SUV where they can be quite heavy. And under here you'll find the plug-in hybrid powertrain. However, if you just want the normal petrol, you've got a mild hybrid 1.5 litre turbo, or you can have a 2 litre turbo petrol, or of course the 2 litre turbo diesels, TDIs, which are very reliable and have been in Skoda's range for a long time. However, this is the plug-in hybrid powertrain, so you get the 1.5 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine mated with a front wheel drive electric motor as well. Combined together, these make 201 brake horsepower, which means it feels pretty nippy enough to me. It's not bad at all. The official range from the hybrid battery as well is up to 71 miles, which is very impressive. Got your little funnel here for your washer fluid, which is quite a handy, simply clever feature. So nice little bits and bobs like that are inside and out of the car. As for miles per gallon on this, Skoda claim over 700 miles per gallon. That would be if you're like putting a litre of fuel in and then just plugging it in for ages. Yeah, you can't quite get that, so those short journeys is going to help. We will get out on the motorway though later, so you can actually see a realistic combined MPG from the vehicle. Unfortunately, you don't have an all-wheel drive option on the plug-in hybrid. However, I don't think most people are off-roading in a plug-in hybrid vehicle. I don't know, maybe they are, but yeah, you don't have 7-seat option on the plug-in or all-wheel drive. The gearbox, you can't really feel the changes, and it does feel different in electric mode versus petrol mode. So it's different from the Kia vehicles in that way. For example, the Sorento changed gears quite noticeably whether you're in electric or petrol mode. This not so much, only when you're driving it with the petrol engine. So if you like your driving experience to feel the same no matter what electric or petrol that you're in, you might prefer the Kia. Whereas this feels quite different in electric or petrol mode. You can hear the engine kicks in there, but it's not bad. It is pretty smooth and seamless, especially if you're just quite gentle with everything and don't push it too hard. It's a nice car to drive. If you do want more power, you can of course get the hot VRS version with the 2 litre TSI engine and all-wheel drive, and there is also the 2 litre TDI diesel models should you wish. Acceleration is pretty good. If you want to give it some, it will pick up speed nicely, and it's just a nice smooth car to drive. It is a little bit wallowy, as you'd expect from a big SUV. It's over 1.8 tons, so it's not a light thing either. So cornering, twists and turns is not its strong point. We don't expect it. It will be firmer on the 20-inch alloys that you get as standard on a Sportline model. If you do want something with a more sporty edge, you probably want to look towards something like the Mazda CX-80, CX-60, which has got a more firmer suspension setup, more of a premium feel. Or go to one of the premium brands, like with Audi with the Q5 or with the BMW X3. However, then you are spending quite a bit more money. It's sharper though than the Kia Sorento, which is even more wallowy, which didn't bother me as a driver, but passengers felt a little bit sick in that car, whereas this is going to be a bit better for them, as in it's a bit more composed in the corners, etc. You have less body roll than the Kia. So you have a good square bonnet, which means you can judge the size of the car, but it is a big car, that's for sure. There's no hiding the size of it. But that square shape and big door mirrors, etc. makes it quite easy to judge the size of it. So you have a commanding driving position, and also it helps you see the road better ahead round corners rather than a lower down vehicle. If you're spending many hours a week in your car, the more comfort the better really, and something higher up is good, even on the motorway, making you feel a lot safer. Brakes are really good as well on the Kodiaq IV. Better than the electric Skodas, which they are getting better. The L-Rock brakes are better than the Enyaq, for example. The Enyaq's always got them brakes that kind of feel a bit disconnected, a bit spongy, and then when you come to a stop, they go they do that kind of squeak noise, which is always quite annoying, and you feel quite disconnected from the vehicle with that. Whereas the brakes on this feel a little bit more natural, and you kind of know what to expect from them. You put pressure on it, and then it gives you that feedback that you need. It slows you down nice and smoothly. It's not a light vehicle, but that does have upsides in that it feels extremely solid, especially at the higher speeds as well, which I'm about to demonstrate. So automatic recuperation is quite clever. If I was to change it to high, there you go, you can feel that noticeable difference. It slows down quite a bit more. However, it doesn't really affect the accelerator, which is nice. High regen now. Yeah, that is really quite strong actually. Strong enough for me to slow down enough to see it's clear and go, which is nice. Now let's give it some beans. It's 50. There we go. You hardly feel the changes, which is quite nice. So you have more of that electric car feel, which is good. You still know there's an engine under there because you've got that slight delay versus an EV. So you can see the engine kicked in there and you didn't really even feel it. Let's go onto the motorway. There we go, it's shifted up nicely there. Even on the motorway, you've got that nice command and driving position, which a lot of people really like, especially feeling nice and safe on the road is good. It's not as planted though as the Superb, which felt a bit more solid as a rock to the ground, not affected by wind, affected by overtaking lorries, things like that. It was a bit more glued to the ground, whereas this a little bit more floaty on the road, not as planted. It doesn't feel unstable because it's a massive thing. So if I put automatic recuperation on now and I come off, the car's just kind of coasting. I've not got my foot on the accelerator or the brake now, I'm just letting it do its own thing. It's not running away with itself, which is nice. We are going down a hill. It's pretty good actually. Road noise, wind noise, not bad at all either on the motorway. As with the electric Skodas, there's no wind noise from the door mirrors, which is really surprising, the massive size of them. Auto hold's really good too. You don't have to press your foot really hard on the brake like you do on the Audi hybrids. You just come to a stop and it puts auto hold on. As I say as well, if you are spending many hours in your car and you need something nice and comfortable and efficient, then this ticks those boxes perfectly. It'll be interesting to see how it drives once the battery's pretty depleted. As with most plug-in hybrids now though, it'll keep a tiny reserve just to kind of act as a self-charging hybrid if you like. I'm not sure what the fuel economy will be like then. It should be probably about 40 odd. I'm using the paddles again for regen, because when it's in EV mode they become regen paddles. It's very clever, but it still says M3 as though you're changing the gears manually. The interior's not making any noises because we're not on rattly bits of road. Oh, you can hear it a bit now. There you go. And the jiggly bits you can just hear. Slight creaking, which is a bit annoying. You don't hear it though when you've got music on, and it's not generally happening, especially on the smooth bits of road. You don't notice it. Pulling out of here in the wet, go around a corner with acceleration. A little bit, the traction control come on, but it was fine. It didn't proper spin. No, it's pretty stable to be fair. Surprisingly as well, this car's actually got quite a decent turning circle, 11.2 meters. So it's not like a limousine. I mean, it's a big car, it's a long car, isn't it? Makes a weird noise when turning. Remember that early IDs did that as well. It's a really weird creaky noise. I wish the handbrake come on now, but you've got to put it on yourself. That was my final figure, 38 miles today, 134 miles per gallon average, which is really good. And it's still got quite a lot of battery left in there, about half, something like that. What about the interior of the Kodiaq? Well, this is the mid-spec SEL model. You've got this two-spoke Skoda steering wheel. It's really nice and thin, so it's very ergonomic. The steering's lightweight as well. It's nicely set up, so it's quite easy to drive. As standard, you get the 13-inch central infotainment screen. Unfortunately, it is facing away from the driver, which is one of my pet peeves. It's really quite annoying, and it's kind of more noticeable on a higher up vehicle than it is on the lower down cars, because you kind of have to stretch further to get to the corner of the screen. Luckily you do have shortcuts on the steering wheel and they are proper physical buttons, which is always helpful. You can also use the voice control function too, but it would be better for that to be facing towards the driver. Your digital dials are really great. However, if you do want a heads-up display, you can opt for that option on SEL and Sportline models. Not really necessary, but something that you might like on this vehicle. Another thing you might like is a sunroof, which is also not standard on any model. You do have to opt for it and it's over £1,700, so it's not a cheap option, especially on a vehicle like this, a larger family SUV. It's great to have a sunroof. The materials used are quite nice. Most of it is pretty solidly built, which is nice. They definitely have improved from previous. They were always screwed together quite well, but Skodas used to have quite cheap plastics throughout the cabin, which you can't say anymore. It's pretty good now. So you've got nice soft touch dash, even down at the bottom the plastic isn't too bad, it's fine in here. You do have felt in the door pockets as well in the front. Lots of storage as you'd expect from Skoda. Double wireless charging pad, this little thing to wipe the screen with fingerprints. And then perhaps one of the most simply clever features I'd say is not the screen wiper, but the cup holders. So you've got two cup holders there, a smaller one and a bigger one, and four cup holders, which is very good. Obviously you don't want any like flimsy cups that can slip underneath, but bottles, it does support them in there. These are more supportive. You know, you can get all the family's drinks in there should you wish, and there's more in the back. So very, very clever. Extra glove box here with this little button that did stump me. I was trying to open it, but there you go, you've got that. I really like this kind of cricket ball stitch on there. That looks quite nice and premium. Continues, which is really nice. And these materials are great on the doors, actually. That's really nice. This comfortable armrest, which is slightly padded, is really nice too. And then you've got your little dials down here as well, which work very well. It's quite intuitive actually, these, and you can set them up to how you like, which I really like. You do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard as well. Also got some quick functions up here, shortcuts which you can customize, which is great to see. Built-in navigation as well is really nice. So there's some nice features within the vehicle. Pop it in reverse, you can see the rear camera comes up. It's pretty clear. You can also have it show a different angle as well, and you've got your front and rear sensors as standard anyway, so that's good, especially for a long vehicle like this. It does help with your parking for sure. You can opt for 360 cameras as well, which could be quite handy, especially if you're in a tight space. Adaptive cruise control is an option on the SEL model, so quite expensive to add the adaptive cruise. As for the interior fabrics offered on the Kodiaq, as standard on the SE you get a full fabric seat, which does look very comfortable, but perhaps not the most premium. You can upgrade to the lounge package on SE for just under £2,000, and that's a fabric and synthetic leather mix with the mustard stitching. It looks fantastic. Going up to this mid-spec SEL, as standard you get the sweet interior, which is a combination of genuine leather and synthetic leather. You can have it in the black or a free of charge option, the Kodiaq, which is that nice kind of tan browny colour. I do quite like that. I think I'd go for that if I went for the SEL model. I really like Alcantara fabrics, so that's great. On the Sportline as standard, you get the Alcantara seat on the Sportline. The seats themselves are quite a big chunky seat, but they are quite comfortable. The bolsters are wide, so if you're a slightly larger person, it'll be nice and comfortable. Or slippy as a completely synthetic leather, which I find less comfortable. This is nice because this bit is the genuine leather, so it's more grainy, so it keeps you in gripped a bit more. Being the SEL, you get the electronic driver seat, which is really nice, so you can adjust it and you've got a lot of comfort. You can upgrade to ergo active massage seats and quite a few extra features on the vehicle, but they are quite expensive now. Added extras on the Skodas can add up quite a bit, so just something to bear in mind, especially when this plug-in hybrid model starts at over £42,000 anyway. This is the SEL version of the Kodiaq with keyless entry. You do also get the electric tailgate, which is a great feature, and that brings us on to the boot space and practicality of this vehicle, because even being a plug-in hybrid, it offers so much space. As for the sheer boot space, you'll find 745 litres in the plug-in hybrid model. That's not as much as the 910 you get on petrol and diesel models, but it's still very impressive. It's 5 more litres than you'll find on the Peugeot 5008 plug-in hybrid, and it's much bigger than the 604 litres on the Kia Sorento. So very impressive space that we see here. It's great. And under there you'll find the petrol tank as well, and a tyre inflation kit. all nice and easy. You can opt for a spare wheel on the non-plug-in hybrid variants as well, should you wish, so that's quite good. But yeah, there's lots of little clever features like the 12-volt socket, the lights on each side, and also the really easy handles to release the rear seats as well. Of course, as well, being a Skoda, this car's packed with simply clever features, but my favourite by far is definitely the umbrella, which has actually come handy a couple of times today. So nice to have that nice feature, and it's a decent umbrella too. They've not cheaped out with this. They're giving you a good quality umbrella with the car. And of course, the Kodiaq is a family car after all, so how is it for the rear space? Well, this goes forward a bit because it's electric, so my seating position is a little bit further back, but loads of leg room, which is excellent. You've actually got your little tags, there you go, and you can have your seats more reclined or more upright, which is really nice. So you've got quite a lot of flexibility. You've also still got the little bars underneath the seats, there we go, so you can give yourself more boot space or more leg room, which is great to see. Also back here you've got an armrest, nice and comfortable. Nice materials continue throughout the back. 2 USB-Cs back here. You've also got the tri-zone climate control, which is really nice. You can also opt for heated rear seats in the extended winter pack, which is a nice thing to do for your passengers. Let's check out the third row on the Kodiaq. Plug-in hybrid models don't have the option of 7 seats, unfortunately. So if you do want a Volkswagen Group plug-in hybrid SUV, you can't have 7 seats at the moment, which is a little bit of a shame. That means that you will have to look elsewhere if you're looking for a 7-seat plug-in hybrid SUV. You're going to have to look to the Koreans with the Kia Sorento or the Hyundai Santa Fe, or the likes of Stellantis with the Peugeot 5008 plug-in hybrid. How's the middle seat on this? Well, you do have quite a big tunnel in here. Middle seat not bad, the back is a bit firm as you see on a lot of cars, but the base isn't too bad. More of a perch than a proper seat, but short journeys it should be fine. It's quite a wide car, so 3 adults width-wise shouldn't be too much of a problem. Isofix points are quite open, so easy to access. Don't look the best, but they're okay. And then you do have Isofix on the front passenger seat as well. So well done, Skoda. It's all quite good for practicality, loads of space for the rear passengers, which is very important on a car like this. Another good feature for practicality is the electronic child locks, which is really easy, so you don't need to faff about with your keys and you've got them at your fingertips. So that is my time up with the Skoda Kodiaq IV, and what did I think? Well, I think it's a great choice as a family plug-in hybrid SUV, or even just as a company car, because it's efficient, easy and cheap to run, and just a nice car to live with and drive day in, day out. I think it's a really good option. Yes, I think the Tayron in Volkswagen Group's own range does have a better look, as does the chunkier, squarer Sorento from Kia. I prefer the look of that. However, this has got much better plug-in hybrid technology. With nearly double the range of the Kia, it's very impressive to see. And it feels pretty solid on the road, so I do like it all in all. Great on company car tax, great on fuel. This is a good option to go for. A huge thanks again to Vantage Skoda in Morecambe for making this video possible. Again, all their links are in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
According to ChatGPT, the Skoda Kodiaq is well regarded for its spacious interior, practicality, and good value for money. It's a reliable choice for families and offers a comfortable ride.